Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to be waved on today, Mr. Chair. And I will just say that oversight is far livelier than Ways and Means. But, you know, and Governor Walz, I want to say I thank you for being here because I know you've been very, very busy running around the country, giving speeches and having town halls in Republican
budgets.
Yeah, well, you were running around, though, I know, while they were trying to negotiate that.
I'm a
So it's my
multitasker.
time, Mr. Governor Walz, it's my time. But there has been a lot of discussion and questions about policies that provide benefits for illegal aliens. And I understand, Governor, that you're going to say Minnesota is not a sanctuary state per se because the legislation was not passed. And just a yes or no question, Ranking Member Lynch had mentioned that there was a bill that was introduced for a sanctuary state this year in the Minnesota legislature. Would you have signed that bill? Did you support that bill?
Oh, thousands of bills introduced, hypothetical. We don't have it. I operate under the same law you operated under.
Okay. Thank you, Governor Walz.
Under Lieutenant Governor.
But Governor Walz, we all know that you probably had you probably had some opinion on that bill. You're just choosing not to answer because the answer was probably yes. You would have signed that bill if it had passed. So, but like Mr. Emmer, Mr. Crane, I think Mr. McGuire, a whole bunch of them mentioned the policies that Minnesota has. So yes, I understand, not a sanctuary state per se, but the policies are certainly making it into, I think, as I recall, they mentioned driver's license for all, they mentioned the free tuition for illegal immigrants, they mentioned the Medicaid benefits, you know, so you in essence create a sanctuary state. You know,
You know the
not
sheriff
formally.
supported the driver's license bill. The hospitals and others.
Governor Walz, I am certainly aware of that. I served many years in the legislature. I still keep an eye. I have many friends there. I understand that. But in essence, they are creating a sanctuary state in practice. And so we are going to talk a little bit about the legislature because just earlier this week, both chambers of the Minnesota legislature passed HF 1. And you're probably familiar with it. I don't know if you've signed it yet or not, but it repeals Minnesota care eligibility for illegal immigrants, adults ages 18 and older. And with that recent repeal of eligibility for illegal immigrants, a policy that initially, I mean, it was after my time, was enacted in your time, 2023 under your administration, now being reversed with those budget negotiations. I was just wondering, first of all, do you know how many illegal immigrants were covered and are currently covered in Minnesota with Medicaid?
I don't have the exact number. It's not Medicaid. It's state that does this through Minnesota Care.
Okay, well, but you still don't know how many. So
I don't
all
have
of those
I believe
negotiations you were deeply involved in earlier that you mentioned you were deeply involved in, that number never came up?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Okay.
So we can certainly get it to you.
I would love it. I would love to have that. But do you support, I mean, I understand, did you support that provision that removing the illegal immigrants?
I will sign it into law.
No, did you support it during the negotiations?
Do I support it? I'm going to sign the bill.
But there's negotiations. So I guess what I'm
We're very
hearing, though,
good
is
at
you
it. That's why we have a
didn't support-
balanced budget.
You didn't
And so I negotiated
support-
with the Republicans. Do I think it makes sense? Look, you know, Congresswoman, that federal law requires us to provide health care to people when they show up in emergency rooms. That's why the hospitals have uncompensated care.
Reclaiming my time, because you're trying to change the subject, because I asked you very specifically, during negotiations, did you support the provision to eliminate illegal immigrants from health care?
It's a question that makes no sense. I support it at the end of the day in a negotiation, which I agree to and will sign it.
Thank you, Governor. I mean, you were here in Congress. You understand what reclaiming your time means. Yeah, you understand that. But I guess I will move on because, you know, there was concerns about SNAP provisions being cut and all kinds of, but you supported that. I mean, you supported that over the over the health care to illegal immigrants. I guess I'm confused about because you had other cuts you had to make. So what did all of the things that you guys have been talking about with law enforcement, education, school breakfast and lunch, did you cut that during the budget negotiations this year? Because my understanding is you had quite a deficit.
We don't. We have a budget surplus, as you know, Congresswoman.
Well, long term, but you had to make cuts this year.
we had a balanced budget. It's something we can help you all with. We have a balanced budget we agreed on. We left over $1.9 billion on the bottom line for this biennium, and even.
But
on the
your
second
structural
biennium,
budget, you
structural
had to make
balance
cuts.
was reduced by 50%.
You had to make cuts. Or no, you didn't make any cuts.
We balanced a budget. We moved and we invested.
All right,
That's what
Governor,
we
I'm
do.
going to move on because I have one more thing and I'm running out of time because I really do want to talk about, you had mentioned civility, or someone had mentioned civility. There was a discussion earlier about civility, but Mr. Fallon had mentioned how you had said, you know, you want to kick Republican ass. You've mentioned bullying. There's another one where you're going to bully the SHIT out of President Trump. There's all kinds of things, and then you had a discussion about civility, and I'm embarrassed because you say you're an educator and you're the governor of my state that I'm supposed to be proud of, and this is the kind of garbage, the example you're setting for our children, that you're telling people to bully each other. And I try very hard not to say those kinds of things because I understand that it is meaningful. When you hold a position like this, you should not be saying things like that.
But you support the president's language?
Hey, gentlelady's
Woman?
The
expired.
president is not in front of me right now, Governor.
Gentlelady's time's
I
expired.
have
He should be.
Chair recognizes the ranking member
Kind of
for a
garbage.
unanimous